Chapter 8, Unexpected Visitor. Xing Xing wasn't sure, but it seemed as though she heard someone outside her door talking. It wasn't loud, but the voices were clear. Her husband Hanzo's deep tone, and another voice, one that felt familiar but distant, like a memory tugging at the edge of her mind. Curiosity set in as she finished her porridge. Should she look? Quietly, she cracked the door open just enough to peek out. Her heart skipped a beat as recognition hit her. Her husband was standing there, speaking to someone she hadn't seen in years. "Dear," she gasped, stepping fully into the room. "Where did you find him?" The powerful-looking man turned to her, his broad shoulders framed by the warm light of the home. A soft smile spread across his face as he stepped forward, arms outstretched. Without hesitation, he pulled her into a firm embrace. "Hey, sis," he said softly, his voice carrying a mixture of warmth and strength. "Uncle Sun Yi!" Ji shouted, his voice filled with excitement. He and Wu immediately stood, bowing deeply in unison to show their respect, their heads nearly touching the floor. "Hey, Dad," Wu added, grinning as he straightened. Sun Yi let out a deep, hearty laugh as he turned to the boys. "Look at you two. Taller than last time and stronger, I'd bet. Been practicing your stances?" "Yes, Uncle," Ji said eagerly. "Every day." "Wu's been showing me new moves, too." "Good, good," Sun Yi said approvingly. He patted each boy on the shoulder with hands that felt like iron. "You're both shaping up to be fine warriors. I'll have to test your skills before I leave." Hanzo smiled from the side, arms crossed. "They've come a long way, but don't hold back too much, Sun Yi. They'll need to learn what real strength feels like." "Don't worry, brother," Sun Yi replied with a wink. "I'll make sure they earn their lessons." Xing Xing, still processing the moment, finally found her voice. "Sun Yi, how did you even find your way here? It's been years since we last saw you." Sun Yi's expression grew serious for a moment, though the warmth in his eyes remained. "I came because the winds are changing, sister. I have much to tell you all, but for now, let's enjoy this reunion." Xing Xing smiled warmly at her brother. "Sun Yi, you're right. Let's not stand in the doorway all night. Come, let's sit and catch up properly." Everyone laughed, the tension from the unexpected reunion melting away into a shared sense of joy. Xing Xing led the way to the sitting area, where the family's simple yet welcoming furnishings made for a more comfortable gathering. The boys eagerly followed, their excitement still bubbling over. Sun Yi settled into a sturdy chair, his broad frame making it seem smaller than it was. Hanzo took his usual spot next to Xing Xing, who sat with the grace and poise that seemed effortless to her. Wu and Ji perched on the edge of a nearby bench, their eyes never leaving their uncle. Sun Yi leaned back, his arms resting on the chair's sides. "This feels much better," he said, his voice warm. "Now we can talk like family. It's been too long." "It really has," Xing Xing agreed. "You've been away so long, we were beginning to wonder if you'd forgotten us entirely." "Forget you?" Sun Yi laughed, shaking his head. "Not a chance, sis. Family is always first, but my path has taken me far from here, and, well, there's much to discuss." Hanzo nodded thoughtfully. "We'll get to that in time. Tonight, let's enjoy this reunion. The serious talk can wait until the morning." Sun Yi nodded slightly in agreement. Xing Xing let out a soft sigh, her shoulders relaxing as she glanced around the room. Surrounded by her sons and the two most important men in her life, she felt a rare moment of peace. "All right," Sun Yi said, breaking the silence with a warm smile. "Tonight is for family. Tomorrow can be for everything else." Ji leaned forward eagerly. "Uncle Sun Yi, what kind of training will you show us tomorrow?" "Yeah," Wu added. "Is it something secret?" Sun Yi chuckled, shaking his head. "You'll just have to wait and see, but I promise it'll push you both further than you've gone before." The boys exchanged excited glances while Xing Xing watched them with a smile, feeling grateful for the laughter and warmth filling their home once more. "So, how's things going in El Vega?" Xing Xing asked, her curiosity evident. Sun Yi chuckled, leaning back in his seat. "Would you believe there's a rumor going around that they're planning to build more Vegas in a few years?" Xing Xing raised an eyebrow, half in disbelief. "More? Isn't one chaotic enough?" "You'd think so," Sun Yi said with a smirk. "But apparently they can't resist the idea of spreading the madness." More lights, more noise, more people throwing away their fortunes. Hanzo shook his head, amused. Sounds like it's becoming less of a place and more of a plague. That's one way to put it, Sun Yi replied, grinning. But who knows? Maybe they'll name one after me someday. The room filled with laughter, and the playful banter carried on, keeping the mood light and warm. They settled into easy conversation, sharing laughter and warmth as they discussed the latest happenings in the valley, in Sun Yi's adventurous travels. Hey, Uncle, do you really think we're strong enough to spar with you yet? Ji asked, his eyes shining with excitement. Sun Yi chuckled, leaning forward. Strong enough? Maybe. Quick enough? We'll see. I'll test both of you soon enough, but don't expect me to go easy. Wu grinned, sitting up straighter. We won't. We've been practicing every day. You'll see. We're ready. Good, Sun Yi said with a nod, a mischievous glint in his eye. Then you'd better rest up tonight, because tomorrow the real training begins. The boys exchanged determined looks, their excitement barely contained, while the rest of the family laughed, the bonds between them stronger than ever. Yeah, boys, I think it's about that time, Xing said, her tone firm but playful. But Mom, school doesn't start back for another 2 whole weeks, Ji protested, his voice full of youthful defiance. Oh, is that so? Xing replied, her lips curving into a sly smile. Well, I was just trying to save you both the embarrassment of telling your uncle you're too tired to spar with him tomorrow. Ji's eyes widened in realization, and without another word he sprang to his feet, just barely beating Wu to it. Uncle! Uncle! They both called out as they dashed toward the rear of the house, vanishing into their room. Xing raised her eyebrows, a satisfied look on her face as she leaned back in her seat. Works every time, she said, earning a chuckle from Sun Yi and Hanzo.